Yo guys, another Bitcoin all-time high. Sorry for the delay on the video, it's been a little busy. I had the editor upload the all-time high long that we took at the start of the month, condense it, cut it up into one video, uploaded that for you guys. So if you're enjoying that, keep watching it. Comments on it have been great so far. But I mean, hard to complain here if you're holding Bitcoin. It's been a little bit shittier for a lot of altcoin people, I think, lately. Outside of, some random shit on chain, which I still think is quite extractive in PvP, other than like, Chill Guy, which went insane. It's kind of reminding me of SafeMoon. It's got like 80,000 holders, and it's been 48 hours, and it's got, $500 million market cap. Crazy. But outside of a few of those, I think a lot of people are still getting, fucked up on alts. Understandably so. Bitcoin dominance is still really high. Right, so Bitcoin dominance currently pushing to a fresh high as we speak here. Ethereum BTC trading to new lows here again. So until these reconcile, so this thing bottoms, which I think it's close. Like maybe we're gonna run this low here, right? And there's a monthly order block like right here. So like maybe this is where it's gonna bottom out. It is close, right? But it's not in yet. So a lot of alts still underperforming Bitcoin. On the upside, like you can see, Ethereum here is trading at 3,089. Okay. It was trading at 3,089. What chart am I on here? It was trading at this same price here at the start of November. Whereas Bitcoin at the start of November, was trading still below 80K. It's almost at 100K now. So a lot of altcoins are underperforming Bitcoin on the moves up. And then when Bitcoin chops and it has little pullbacks and little dips like we saw even on the low time frames just in here, a lot of these altcoins make new lows and trade like shit. Like, so you look like I'm long WIF, for example. Like WIF had its Coinbase pump. I think it was Coinbase it got added to, right? Or Robinhood, one of the two, I forget. But it's now down 40% from there, right? Even Solana, which had a big move up, right? It's down off of its high, currently 5%, while Bitcoin is pushing the highs here. So I do think that low on ETH BTC and that top on BTC dominance is close. But if you're wondering why your alts are underperforming to the upside and overperforming to the downside, that's the reason why. It's because Bitcoin is still dominant. Bitcoin is still super strong. So we have another all-time high here. I don't think we really have anything to worry about. I feel like this is just going to go to 100K. Whether it's going to do that right now or after some sort of pullback, I don't really know. Obviously, you want to see this all-time high break have some strength. So this was kind of not my favorite. But this follow-up that we're now getting, right? We had this little retest here, and now we're pushing up again. I like it more. The more distance we can put between this high and this move, I think the better. Because if this kind of just wilts back down and gets back below here, that to me opens up the door for a larger correction down here or even down just to here. I don't know. Maybe it's shallow. Maybe it just comes down to here. The higher we go, eventually a correction is going to come. But we want this breakout to be a breakout, right? Similar to here, right? This old all-time high. We broke out, consolidated, and then we just legged the fuck up. You want to see something similar happen here, because if this just kind of dilly-dallies around here and then for some reason we get back below here, then you need to be looking for a potential larger correction. But for now, continues to look good. Hopefully you guys are making money. Hopefully you guys are having some fun. I know a lot of people have been worried about, missing stuff, prices going up. I'm not in moves. I've talked about this consistently for the last few months now. Like the craziest stuff is just yet to come. The craziest stuff does not necessarily happen early in the cycle. It's going to happen oftentimes later in the cycle, where you get these crazy memes that come out of nowhere, crazy altcoin runs. We haven't even seen Bitcoin dominance top yet. So I think that's a good sign for, lots of opportunities yet to be had. So don't stress if you've been missing out on stuff. I do think the bottom on ETH BTC and the top on Bitcoin dominance ends in a Bitcoin God candle. I've been talking about that, like a crazy fuck you candle. So whether that's down or up, I just think that's what happens. We're moving up right now. Bitcoin dominance is climbing. we can move down and Bitcoin dominance can still climb as long as Bitcoin is outperforming the rest of the market. So if we get some sort of crazy candle here, to 100K today or tomorrow, that might end up being the bottom, right, on Bitcoin, on ETH BTC, and Bitcoin dominance is top, and then we're going to see altcoins have a crazy catch-up leg or something like that. So things are looking good right now. It's great if you're holding Bitcoin, but obviously, as you've seen on some alts, like look at some of the more kind of popular alts of late. Like you look at GOAT, for example. GOAT had a significant pullback. Bitcoin is making fresh highs right now. Yeah, GOAT's bouncing here, right? But it's down, still over 30% from, just a few days ago. So that's going to continue until that Bitcoin dominance chart tops, until that Bitcoin ETH BTC chart bottoms. So you do have to be careful. I mean, obviously, if you're holding spot, you got nothing to worry about. But if you're trading altcoins with leverage, if Bitcoin sneezes here and drops a little, right, like this, you might have an altcoin that drops 20 or 30%. So look at this. This is the 17th of November, okay? Bitcoin dropped 1%. 1%. So this move here to down here is 3.5%. But on this actual day, Bitcoin dropped 1%. And then if we go look at GOAT on that same day, right? GOAT dropped 1%. And then now Bitcoin is trading higher and GOAT is 30% off of that relative high. Does that make sense, right? So Bitcoin had a very small pullback, couple of points, 3 or 4 points. GOAT pulled back 10 times that. So that's what you got to be careful of if you're trading these altcoins with leverage. I actually think some of these things are starting to look pretty good now, coming into some demand here, for example, on GOAT. But that you do got to be careful. You got to be aware as Bitcoin is pushing higher and Bitcoin dominance continues to push higher. If you're leverage trading altcoins, they're going to be uber reflexive in both directions. So just be careful. But the longer this kind of pushes up and gets away from this high, I think the better it looks. We can get another leg up here and then we get a nice consolidation and a retest, some pullbacks to long. I think that all looks good. The only thing I could see is possibly being sketchy, which it doesn't look like it's going to happen just after these last couple candles, is this becomes a deviation and we trade, back into here, something like that. And if that were to happen, I don't think it's going to happen, but if it were to happen, that's probably going to be wreck city for a lot of fucking altcoins. So just be careful if you're using leverage, specifically with altcoins, because they are going to be more reflexive to the downside with how strong Bitcoin has been. But I mean, this thing is just continuing to just grind higher. I think a lot of people, I thought the other day when we had this sweep, I was like, okay, maybe we're going to get a correction down to here or even to here. And I'd look to long that. And we've just continued to grind higher and push higher. I mean, right now it's 7:52 at night and we're making all-time highs. So kind of annoying if you want to do stuff other than stare at the screen all day. But that's the market we're in right now. You got to be paying attention. These moves can happen at any time, it seems, whether it's the weekend, it's going up, middle of the night, early in the morning. So looks good for now. Let's continue to see how the next day shapes up. I do think, again, alts are lagging. But if Bitcoin's going to start another rally here, a lot of these altcoins have pulled back 20, 30% into demand. So like I took a long on WIF. I'm still underwater. But I talked about this in my last video, or maybe it was a stream. I was like, listen, if this pulls back here, I got a bid. 30% off the high. Things are still going up. So I took the bid. I'm obviously underwater currently. But if Bitcoin continues to go up, this should be fine. But the fact of the matter is, on the 13th of November, right, Bitcoin was trading at, 90K. It pulled back not that far. It pulled back 4.5%. WIF is down 30%, since then, and Bitcoin's making new highs. So that's another good example of that, kind of dislocation between the two right now. So you just got to be careful using the leverage. But if you're in Bitcoin, you're a happy camper right now. 100K just seems like the magnet at this point. Stay safe, right? Don't fuck around with the leverage too much. Be careful on those altcoins. But I do think that there are going to be opportunities to buy a lot of these things on big dips. Like another really strong coin, for example, has been Popcat. Where is it here? So Popcat's been a very strong coin. Ripping. But again, it's down, 15, 20% plus while Bitcoin is pushing new highs. So if Bitcoin's going to rally and this is going to reverse, great. But if Bitcoin does pull back for some reason and we get some sort of 5% candle like we did just, a week ago, a lot of these alts are going to, overperform to the downside. So you got to be very careful there. But I don't really have much else to say, like in terms of a trade setup on Bitcoin. You got to wait and see where this leg finishes. But if this closes bullishly, like it looks like it will right now, we've got fresh demand here, right? Just like we had here. And that was the higher low, just like we had here. And that was the higher low, just like we had here. And that was the higher low. So this is just stair-stepping its way up for now. So let's wait and see how the next little bit goes. I'll try and get another video out maybe tomorrow if it makes sense, if there's stuff to talk about. But again, I saw a lot of kind of doom and gloom on the timeline with regard to some people being in altcoins, nuking when Bitcoin really barely dropped today, right? Like it went down not even 1% today. And now it's fully reversed that move. And a lot of alts are still way below where they were, just yesterday or 2 days ago. So hopefully you guys are enjoying this so far. Clearly, there's still lots of opportunities to be had, lots of money to be made. So don't stress if you're missing out on stuff. But I'll update you guys with another video. Make sure you go watch that last one. I think it's very good, educational, informative. I'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.